What's up? Welcome back to 1001 Nights. Nightmare, night. Call me whatever you want. Oh captain, my captain. Uh, Let me know if you get that reference. But this is the first installment of a new sub-series. We'll call it The Den. Okay, so The Den is going to be part of, obviously, my greater body of work. If it exists, I don't know. That's honestly bold claims, but if it does exist, the den is going to be, where we have casual conversation. Um, and so the topic for this episode is going to be, what was I about to say? Okay, something I learned yesterday. Well, I was going to make a video yesterday. Didn't happen, unfortunately. Life happens, and while I was preparing to make a video, something interesting happened. So I read about some interesting stuff, so I'll share it. I'll share it with you guys. It's not terribly interesting, but it's interesting to me. Minutia, if you will. So we're going to be talking about the difference between dissertation, thesis, treatise, discourse, and then papers, essays, and articles / journals. Pretty much the same thing, article, journal. So to start, we'll start with papers. So papers, you have to write a paper in high school. It's a little bit different, but at an undergrad level, at a collegiate level, a paper is typically what they're talking about when you're asked to write a paper, is to write an essay. So an essay is a body of work which is about 5 to 15 pages, and typically you're trying to prove some type of point. So like either that or you're trying to summarize some form of literature. Those are typically the two broad categories of essays. So you're either trying to prove a point and you're using outside sources to prove that point, or you're using / referencing a canon of literature and you're discussing it, summarizing it, anything in that vein. Next, we move up to the graduate level, and at the graduate level, of course, at the graduate level, a paper would be considered an article or a journal, and so typically with an article or a journal, there's a little bit of usage of outside sources, but typically it is done through independent research. One. Two, the length. The length is typically a little bit longer. So it's about 15 to 25 pages instead of the 5 to 15. Besides that, the goal of an article typically is to get peer-reviewed and ultimately published in a journal. So it's a little bit longer, a little bit, it might be, discussing some literature. It might be, having some type of discourse. It might be, any of that. But the ultimate goal is for it to be reviewed by peer-reviewed, and ultimately get published as a work. It serves as a foundation for your later on experience, and improves your resume a little bit. Besides that, okay. Next, so those are the two categories of a paper. Besides that, we do have a thesis and a dissertation. So it really depends on where you are, but generally a thesis is going to be, again, everything from here on out is typically independent research. But a thesis is basically is going to be between 25 and 50 pages. Um, yeah, 25 and 50 pages, I would say. And what it does is, so a thesis, what does a thesis do? Okay, so a thesis is typically it's using that independent research to answer, pose, or suggest a specific question or train of thought. Um, and you're kind of using that research to draw a conclusion from that. And so with the research, you use that to basically break down your argument, and then at the end of your thesis, you typically have what you have is called a thesis defense, and basically at the end of your master's, which would be postgraduate, well, graduate level work. At the end of graduate level work, um, to obtain your master's, you have to uh, write a thesis, and then you have to defend it. And it's typically by typically by your department chair and other people in the department. Uh, Not department chair. It's by your thesis counselor. Sorry, it's typically done by your thesis counselor and other people in the department, with the department chair president. And basically, the you have to essentially argue that your thesis is correct. They'll attempt to poke holes in it, or point out contradictions. Not necessarily point out contradictions. That seems a little bit negative light, but they attempt to gain a deeper understanding of what you are actually trying to say, and does it make sense with current understanding of uh, the literature and scholarly zeitgeist that's going on. And if you have successfully defended your thesis, congratulations, you have a master's degree. Um, After a thesis, there is, if you are doing doctorate level work at the end of your doctorate program, you have to do a similar version where you now have a dissertation. So, thesis is typically a specific topic, whereas a dissertation is because it is much longer. It is book length, so it's like you know, it's literally anywhere from 100 pages. Some dissertations are 300 pages. But the goal of a dissertation is to be in depth about a particular topic, and really draw out understanding and try and consider different angles of nuance from your particular topic. And you're basically creating new research. So you're trying to develop research in a new subgenre of your field. Um, so after that, not after that, separate from that are two different types of writing. There's a treatise and there's a discourse. So a discourse is generally it's a piece written to talk about the current state of beings of a particular field or industry. So discourse is basically discussing, like you might discuss a topic, but it's typically aimed at a meta level. So it's like, okay, we're going to talk about psychology and the psychology field and what that looks like. And so a discourse is meant to typically be a back and forth um, under talk or discussion about a field, um, whereas a treatise is it's a little bit deeper. It's a system. It's a systematic breakdown of uh, typically a discipline as a whole. So a treatise is a good bit longer. They're more in depth. Basically, it starts from A to Z, and it slowly takes you on an understanding of from point of not necessarily starting from zero, because you have to have some level of industry specific knowledge just to truly understand it. So it's not like, well, there are some treatises where the layman can't pick it up and understand it, what's going on by the end, but it essentially breaks down uh, a particular topic in depth and with a greater breadth than you would with a dissertation. So a dissertation is wide, but it is um, I wouldn't say wide, but a dissertation typically its goal is to create new research, whereas a treatise, um, its goal is to break down under current research and kind of explain the bridge between the starting point of the major or element or topic or subject and the current research, and explain how we got there. Well, not how we got there, but explains what it means and how it logically follows, and draw a conclusion about that and potentially where it might go, and discuss potential implications of that. But yeah, and then I guess discourse or treatise can honestly be any length, as long as it needs to be, honestly. So discourses can be short. I've seen 20, 30 page discourses, but treatise, they tend to be quite long, I will say. But I think that's it. So thank you for your time. Appreciate you. Like, subscribe, comment. Um, let me know. Let me know. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I got it. I got it. So let me know if you went to one, if you graduated high school or not. I did not, interestingly enough. Two, let me know if you graduated from college. And three, not if you graduated from college. Well, yes, if you graduated from college, but more specifically, or more broadly, I should say, what was your highest attainment of education? You could be a high school dropout like me, or you could be college dropout. You could be doctor. You could be anybody. You could be a doctor, not of science, of medicine, or of arts, I should say. You could be any of those. So, let me know a little bit about yourself and who you are. Until next time, thanks. Bye.